Ollie McGraw was born in Bedford Village, New York, a small and quiet town far from the lights and glamour of Hollywood. From an early age, she experienced a life that was far from easy. Her father struggled with alcoholism, and her parents often fought, leaving her childhood filled with tension and uncertainty. Growing up in a household marked by conflict, Ollie developed a sense of self-consciousness and insecurity that would stay with her for many years. Despite these challenges, she showed determination and ambition, qualities that would later help her overcome obstacles and reach remarkable success. Seeking a way out of the turmoil at home, she turned her attention to modeling, a path that allowed her to discover her own identity and potential. Under the guidance of Diana Vreeland, the famous fashion editor, Ollie broke into the modeling world, quickly making a name for herself. Her tall, elegant frame and striking features made her stand out in a competitive field, and soon she became a successful fashion model. Modeling opened doors to new opportunities, and before long, Ollie was being noticed by Hollywood producers who were searching for fresh faces to bring to the screen. Her first film role came in the 1969 romantic comedy Goodbye, Columbus, a movie that was well received by both critics and audiences. This debut was significant because it showed that Ollie could not only model, but also act convincingly, and it marked the beginning of her journey toward becoming one of the most recognizable actresses of her generation. It was during this time that she met Robert Evans, a prominent Hollywood producer, who would play a crucial role in shaping her early career. Evans, impressed by her talent and charisma, cast her in Love Story, a film that would define Ollie's place in Hollywood history. Released in 1970, the movie was a massive hit, with its famous line, "Love means never having to say you're sorry," capturing the hearts of audiences around the world. Ollie's performance as Jenny, a young woman facing the challenges of love and illness, was praised for its emotional depth and authenticity. The film's enormous success transformed her overnight, making her one of the most sought-after actresses in Hollywood. Alongside her career success, Ollie's personal life flourished. She married Robert Evans in 1969, and in 1971, they welcomed their only child, Joshua. At this point, Ollie seemed to have it all, a flourishing career, a prominent husband, and the joys of motherhood. But life, as it often does, had plans that would test her strength and resilience. While she basked in fame and admiration, she would soon find herself drawn into the orbit of another Hollywood legend, a man whose presence and charm would forever change her life. By 1972, Ollie McGraw's career was soaring, and Hollywood was buzzing with anticipation for the upcoming action film The Getaway, directed by Sam Peckinpah. The movie starred Steve McQueen, a man already established as Hollywood's ultimate king of cool, famous for his daring stunts, charisma, and rebellious persona. Steve was 12 years older than Ollie, and his life had been shaped by challenges that left deep emotional scars. Abandoned by his father and raised largely without maternal guidance, he grew up with a strong sense of independence, but also an underlying distrust of people, especially women. This combination of charm, confidence, and guarded vulnerability made him irresistible to many, and Ollie was no exception. On the set of The Getaway, their chemistry was immediate and undeniable. Ollie would later describe it as chemical, explaining that whenever Steve entered a room, his presence was magnetic, drawing attention from everyone. Despite being married to Robert Evans, Ollie felt herself drawn into Steve's world, captivated by his intensity and charm. Their connection quickly evolved from professional respect into a passionate affair, a relationship that would soon become one of the most talked-about romances in Hollywood history. While the press and public celebrated their chemistry on screen, the reality behind the scenes was more complicated. Ollie had to balance her growing feelings for Steve with the obligations of her marriage, and this internal conflict created both excitement and guilt. Her memoirs later revealed that she sensed trouble even before filming began, aware that working so closely with such a powerful, charismatic man might disrupt her life. The allure of Steve McQueen was impossible to resist, however, and despite her hesitations, their relationship deepened. The intensity of their romance brought with it both passion and peril, foreshadowing the struggles that would follow. Hollywood watched closely, and the buzz surrounding their affair only increased the anticipation for The Getaway. The combination of on-screen talent, off-screen scandal, and public fascination ensured that Ollie McGraw's life would no longer be private. By the end of 1972, she made the difficult decision to divorce Robert Evans, a move that shook Hollywood circles and confirmed her growing commitment to Steve McQueen. Their relationship was no longer just a secret. It had become a public spectacle, blending glamour, scandal, and undeniable human emotion. Ollie McGraw and Steve McQueen married in July 1973 in what appeared to outsiders as a glamorous Hollywood union. To the world, they were the perfect couple, beautiful, successful, and adored by fans. They settled in Malibu, living in a secluded beach house where they hosted barbecues, strolled along the sand, and enjoyed the company of close friends. From the outside, their life seemed idyllic, almost like a dream brought to life. However, the reality behind closed doors was far different. Steve McQueen, despite his charm and fame, had deep emotional scars that influenced his behavior. His early experiences of abandonment left him with insecurities and a controlling nature, particularly in his relationships. Ollie would soon discover that his jealousy was constant and intense, triggered by even the smallest interactions she had with other men. Paradoxically, Steve himself was rumored to have multiple affairs during their marriage, creating a confusing mix of control and hypocrisy that weighed heavily on Ollie. In addition to managing his jealousy, Ollie faced another sacrifice: her career. At the height of her fame, she was asked to step away from acting entirely. Steve, the highest-paid actor at the time, insisted that he did not want a working wife. Out of love and fear of losing him, Ollie agreed, suppressing her own ambitions and putting her career on hold. She became a full-time homemaker, caring for her son, managing the household, and catering to Steve's needs. While the world saw a picture-perfect Hollywood couple, Ollie lived a life filled with isolation, sacrifice, and emotional strain. Substance abuse also played a role in the deterioration of their relationship. Steve drank heavily and reportedly experimented with drugs, and Ollie herself began to rely on alcohol as a way to cope with the loneliness and stress. What started as a passionate romance gradually became a complex mix of love, fear, and control. Ollie often reflected on this period with a sense of both love and regret, acknowledging that she adored Steve, yet she felt trapped and silenced. The contrast between public perception and private reality highlighted the difficulties of life in the spotlight and the personal cost of love intertwined with fame. By the mid-1970s, the fairy tale that Ollie and Steve had appeared to live was unraveling. The early passion gave way to tension, mistrust, and emotional exhaustion. Steve's behavior became increasingly erratic, fueled by his addictions and insecurities. He would disappear for nights, returning home in volatile moods, leaving Ollie to navigate the emotional toll of his actions. For Ollie, the isolation intensified as she grappled with the dual pressures of lost independence and the responsibility of raising her son. The once magical relationship was now marked by cycles of conflict, silence, and hurt. Rumors of Steve's infidelities were widespread, creating humiliation and betrayal that Ollie had to manage privately. She struggled internally, torn between the love she had for him and the pain caused by his actions. To cope, she began drinking more heavily, which only deepened her despair and sense of entrapment. Despite these challenges, Ollie tried to maintain some semblance of normalcy, but the weight of her suppressed desires, lost career, and ongoing emotional strain made life increasingly difficult. She often reflected on the years she had sacrificed for Steve, questioning whether her choices had been worth the cost. The contrast between the glamorous image seen by the public and the harsh reality at home underscored the complexity of her experience. Their home, once a sanctuary, had become a space filled with tension, silence, and emotional distance. By 1977, Ollie had reached a breaking point. She wanted to return to acting, reclaiming her identity and career, but Steve's reaction confirmed the futility of negotiation. His decision to file for divorce immediately signaled the end of a marriage defined as much by control as by passion. Ollie emerged from the divorce determined to reclaim her life, but the emotional scars of those years would stay with her for decades. After the divorce from Steve McQueen in 1978, Ollie McGraw faced the difficult task of rebuilding her life. She was no longer married to a man whose fame and personality had overshadowed much of her own identity, but the years she had sacrificed for love left a lingering impact. Her career, once full of promise, had been put on hold at a time when she was at the peak of her fame. Returning to Hollywood proved challenging. The industry had moved on, New stars had emerged, and opportunities were limited for a woman who had voluntarily stepped away. Ollie felt the sting of being typecast, often offered roles that did not match her talent or ambitions. Yet she refused to give up completely. In 1978, she accepted a role in the film Convoy, directed by Sam Peckinpah, returning to screen with determination to reclaim her professional life. At the same time, she was still dealing with personal struggles. The emotional weight of her past relationships, coupled with the isolation she experienced during her marriage to Steve, had taken a toll. Alcohol, which had once been a source of comfort during her most stressful years, had begun to affect her health and her outlook on life. She recognized that without intervention, her path could lead to further self-destruction. In the early 1990s, Ollie made the courageous decision to enter treatment at the Betty Ford Center. This marked the beginning of a transformative period in her life. Through therapy and support, she began confronting not only her struggles with addiction, but also the emotional scars left by her upbringing, her marriage to Robert Evans, and the controlling dynamics of her time with Steve McQueen. It was not an easy process. Recovery demanded patience, self-reflection, and a willingness to face painful memories that had long been suppressed. Yet, this period of healing allowed Ollie to rebuild her sense of self and reclaim autonomy over her choices. Professionally, she began to carefully select projects that aligned with her renewed sense of purpose. She also explored creative avenues beyond acting, discovering that she could engage with the world in meaningful ways that did not rely on fame or public recognition. The years following her divorce became a time of introspection and reinvention, a period during which she learned the importance of boundaries, self-respect, and personal fulfillment. In retrospect, Ollie has described this stage of her life as essential for developing the independence that she had once sacrificed. It was a testament to her resilience, showing that even after decades of emotional turmoil, she could take deliberate steps toward healing and self-empowerment. Even after her divorce, Steve McQueen remained a figure whose life was intertwined with Ollie MacGraw's past. By the late 1970s, McQueen's health and lifestyle had become increasingly troubled. His early habits of alcohol consumption and drug use had intensified over the years, and his once magnetic energy was now overshadowed by personal struggles. For Ollie, the news of his declining health stirred complicated emotions. Despite the pain, betrayal, and loss she experienced during their marriage, she had loved him deeply, and the thought of his suffering weighed heavily on her conscience. Steve's death in 1980, at the age of 50, from pleural mesothelioma caused by asbestos exposure, shocked the world of Hollywood and those who knew him personally. For Ollie, grief was mixed with memories of both joy and hardship. She had been profoundly affected by the love they shared, but the destructive patterns of jealousy, control, and emotional volatility had left lasting scars. Ollie's reflections on this period reveal a remarkable honesty. She did not deny her deep love for Steve, yet she also did not romanticize the difficulties that defined their relationship. The loss reminded her of the fragility of life and the consequences of unresolved pain and unhealed trauma. In interviews in her memoir, she has admitted that even after years of separation, Steve's presence remained in her memory, influencing how she understood love, trust, and personal boundaries. The aftermath of his death also emphasized the importance of her own recovery and emotional independence. She realized that life could not be defined solely by relationships with others, no matter how intense or meaningful. Instead, she needed to focus on her own well-being, creativity, and self-discovery. This period marked a turning point. Ollie committed to sobriety, nurtured her passions, and began building a life that was truly her own. Steve McQueen's death, while tragic, became a catalyst for Ollie to confront the unresolved emotions of her past and move toward healing. She understood that while she could not change the course of history or undo the pain that had caused each other, she could shape her present and future through conscious choices and self-care. The path to recovery was neither fast nor easy for Ollie MacGraw. The combination of fame, heartache, and years of emotional suppression had left deep psychological and emotional wounds. Her dependence on alcohol, which had started as a coping mechanism, had become a serious obstacle to her health and happiness. At the Betty Ford Center, she confronted these challenges head-on, committing to a rigorous program of therapy, reflection, and self-discipline. Recovery demanded that she acknowledge the pain of her childhood, the loss of her early ambitions, and the emotional turbulence of her marriages. Facing these truths required courage and determination, but Ollie gradually began to rebuild her life. Sobriety was more than abstaining from alcohol. It was a process of reclaiming agency over her decisions, thoughts, and desires. She learned to identify patterns of behavior that had previously trapped her in cycles of dependency and emotional suppression. Over time, she cultivated habits that supported her mental and physical health, including meditation, yoga, and the pursuit of creative projects. By focusing on activities that nurtured her spirit, Ollie was able to create a sense of peace that had long eluded her during the chaos of Hollywood life. Professionally, she engaged in selective acting projects, but more importantly, she began exploring new ways to express herself and contribute to the world. Her experiences of loss, addiction, and recovery became a source of insight and inspiration, both for herself and for others who looked to her story as an example of resilience. By the early 1990s, Ollie had achieved a significant milestone: over 30 years of sobriety. This accomplishment, she has said, was unimaginable during the years she felt trapped in her circumstances. Recovery allowed her not only to survive but to thrive, embracing her passions, and living a life that reflected her values and priorities. Her journey highlights the importance of self-awareness, perseverance, and the willingness to face painful truths in order to create a meaningful and fulfilling life. Beyond sobriety, Ollie McGraw's later life has been characterized by creativity and empowerment. Moving to Santa Fe, New Mexico, she embraced a quieter, more intentional lifestyle, trading the chaos of Hollywood for the calm of a home surrounded by nature. Painting, gardening, and spiritual practices became central to her days, providing fulfillment and purpose beyond fame and public attention. Ollie also engaged in projects that allowed her to uplift others. She partnered with Ibu, a fashion collective that collaborates with female artisans worldwide, helping create clothing lines that celebrate craftsmanship and empower women. This work represented a reclaiming of agency, allowing Ollie to define her path on her own terms rather than conforming to the expectations of powerful men in her life. In interviews, she has expressed pride in this work, noting that it allowed her to contribute to the lives of women globally while exploring her own creativity. Additionally, she reconnected with former colleagues and friends from her acting career, such as Ryan O'Neal, demonstrating that enduring bonds can persist even as life evolves. Touring with O'Neal in a stage production reminded her of the magic of storytelling, yet she no longer relied on external validation for her happiness. Creative reinvention became a central theme in Ollie's life after Hollywood, illustrating that personal fulfillment can emerge from dedication to passions, self-expression, and community engagement. By pursuing projects that reflected her values, she demonstrated resilience, independence, and the ability to thrive despite past challenges. This period of reinvention underscores the importance of adaptability and courage in creating a life that is both meaningful and self-directed. Now at 85, Ollie McGraw looks back on her life with honesty, courage, and perspective. She has lived through extraordinary highs and devastating lows, a meteoric rise to fame, a marriage to one of Hollywood's most iconic figures, years of sacrifice and loss, and a journey through addiction and recovery. Her reflections reveal not only the personal cost of living in the public eye, but also the resilience required to reclaim one's identity after decades of external control and emotional turmoil. Ollie has spoken candidly about the magnetic pull of Steve McQueen, acknowledging that she was drawn into his world with a force that she could not resist. Yet, she has never romanticized the darker aspect of their relationship, openly admitting that there were wonderful days and ghastly days. This level of honesty demonstrates a remarkable self-awareness and a refusal to simplify her experiences into a fairy tale. At 85, she has embraced a philosophy rooted in acceptance, mindfulness, and living in the present moment. She practices meditation and yoga daily, tends to her garden, and enjoys the companionship of animals, all of which help maintain balance and peace in her life. Through these practices, Ollie has discovered that healing and happiness are not dependent on fame, external approval, or the attention of others, but rather on cultivating inner strength, self-compassion, and meaningful connections. She also reflects on the lessons of her past with generosity, recognizing that every experience, whether painful or joyful, has contributed to her growth. Her courage in speaking openly about her marriages, struggles with addiction, and challenges in Hollywood serves as an inspiration to others facing adversity. By sharing her story, Ollie demonstrates that it is possible to overcome hardship, reclaim personal power, and live a life defined not by the expectations of others, but by one's own values and choices. Her reflections at 85 are a testament to resilience, showing that even after decades of challenges, it is never too late to seek peace, fulfillment, and self-discovery. Ollie McGraw's life offers profound lessons about the complexities of love, fame, and personal empowerment. One of the central lessons she shares is the importance of understanding the difference between admiration and control. Her marriage to Steve McQueen, while passionate and magnetic, also highlighted the dangers of surrendering personal autonomy in the name of love. She has openly discussed how she gave up her acting career at the height of her fame to meet the expectations of a powerful partner, a sacrifice that left her feeling isolated and silenced. Yet, her story also illustrates that mistakes or compromises made in the past do not have to define the future. Ollie's recovery, reinvention, and pursuit of meaningful projects show that it is possible to regain agency and create a fulfilling life, even after significant personal and professional setbacks. Another lesson concerns the transient nature of fame. Hollywood's admiration can be fleeting, and public attention does not guarantee personal happiness. Ollie experienced the heights of celebrity and the depths of isolation, realizing that external validation cannot replace self-respect, authenticity, and emotional well-being. She also emphasizes the value of resilience. Through therapy, self-reflection, and lifestyle changes, she rebuilt her sense of self, proving that recovery, whether from addiction, heartbreak, or disappointment, is achievable with commitment and support. Finally, Ollie's story underscores the importance of creative expression and contribution. Her partnership with Ibu and her engagement in artistic projects show that personal fulfillment comes not only from recognition, but from meaningful action, empowerment, and giving back. These lessons resonate beyond Hollywood, offering guidance to anyone navigating the challenges of relationships, personal growth, and life transitions. By sharing her experiences, Ollie McGraw has turned a life of extraordinary drama into a source of insight and inspiration for generations. Ollie McGraw's legacy is not only her work on screen, but also her journey of survival, self-discovery, and empowerment. While her early roles, especially Love Story and Goodbye, Columbus, made her a household name, her life off-screen adds a deeper dimension to her story. She represents the complexities of human experience: love and betrayal, fame and isolation, struggle and triumph. Ollie has shown that it is possible to endure immense challenges and emerge with strength, wisdom, and dignity. Her candid reflections on her marriages, addiction, and personal growth serve as a testament to courage and authenticity. By sharing her story publicly, she has given a voice to experiences often hidden behind the glamour of Hollywood, shining light on the personal cost of fame and the resilience required to overcome them. Additionally, her later life focus on creativity, philanthropy, and empowerment demonstrates that one's legacy is not solely determined by past achievements or public recognition, but also by the positive impact one can make in the lives of others. Through her work with female artisans, her mentorship, and her example of living authentically, Ollie continues to inspire and influence people across generations. Her life reminds us that strength and courage are not only demonstrated in moments of triumph, but also in the quiet, daily choices to heal, grow, and define one's own path. Ollie McGraw's story, both public and private, will remain a source of fascination, respect, and admiration for years to come. Ollie McGraw's life, from her early days in Bedford Village to her present age 85, is a story of contrast: bright fame and deep struggle, intense love and painful loss, isolation and eventual empowerment. She has experienced the full spectrum of human emotion, living both in the public eye and in private hardship. Her journey underscores that even when life seems overwhelming, transformation and fulfillment are possible. Ollie's willingness to share her experiences with honesty, describing her marriages, her challenges with addiction, and the sacrifices she made, offers lessons in courage, self-respect, and the importance of personal growth. Her recovery, creative reinvention, and dedication to meaningful pursuits illustrate the power of resilience, showing that one can create a life of purpose and joy despite past hardships. Today, Ollie McGraw is more than a Hollywood star. She is a survivor, a creator, and a role model. Her story reminds us that life, with all its complexity, can be lived fully, authentically, and with strength. From the bright lights of fame to the quiet peace of Santa Fe, Ollie has walked a path defined by both challenge and triumph, leaving a legacy that inspires reflection, courage, and hope. Her life is proof that, even after heartbreak and struggle, it is possible to find peace, independence, and fulfillment, making her story timeless, compelling, and deeply human. Ollie MacGraw grew up in Bedford Village, New York, far from the Hollywood spotlight. Her childhood was difficult. Her father struggled with alcoholism, her parents fought constantly, and she often felt insecure and overlooked. Seeking escape, she turned to modeling, where her natural elegance and striking looks caught the eye of industry insiders. Under the guidance of fashion editor Diana Vreeland, Ollie broke into the world of high fashion, quickly gaining recognition. Her modeling career opened doors to Hollywood, and in 1969, she landed her first film role in Goodbye, Columbus, a romantic comedy that showcased her talent and charm. Around this time, she met Robert Evans, a powerful Hollywood producer, who saw something special in her and cast her in Love Story. Released in 1970, Love Story was an enormous success, making Ollie an overnight sensation. Her portrayal of Jenny, a young woman facing love and illness, captured the hearts of millions and turned her into a leading lady of Hollywood. Off-screen, Ollie's life seemed equally perfect. She married Robert Evans in 1969 and had a son, Joshua, in 1971. She had fame, family, and love, or so it seemed. But soon, her life would take a dramatic turn when she met another Hollywood legend. Steve McQueen, BY 1972, Ollie was cast in The Getaway, starring Steve McQueen, already a global superstar. Steve's charisma, rebellious charm, and magnetic presence were impossible to ignore. Despite being married to Robert Evans, Ollie felt an undeniable pull toward him. Their chemistry on set was electric, and it didn't take long for a secret romance to develop. Hollywood buzzed with rumors, and the story quickly became one of the most talked about affairs of the decade. Ollie later admitted she sensed trouble even before filming started, knowing that Steve's intense personality could complicate her life. Yet the allure was irresistible and their connection deepened, leading to one of Hollywood's most infamous love stories. By the end of 1972, Ollie filed for divorce from Evans, a scandal that rocked Tinseltown, and she became publicly involved with Steve McQueen. Ollie and Steve married in July 1973, and at first, their life seemed like a fairy tale. Living in Malibu, hosting glamorous gatherings, and appearing as the picture-perfect couple, the world saw happiness. But the reality behind closed doors was far darker. Steve's childhood traumas had left him controlling and insecure. He demanded that Ollie give up her acting career, effectively silencing her ambitions. Out of love and fear of losing him, she agreed. Meanwhile, Steve himself was rumored to have multiple affairs, creating a painful double standard. Ollie became a full-time homemaker, raising her son and catering to Steve's needs. She felt isolated, her independence lost, and her personal dreams put on hold. Alcohol became a coping mechanism, and the excitement of romance gave way to tension, jealousy, and emotional strain. While the world admired them, Ollie was living a life of quiet suffering, a truth she would only fully process decades later, BY the mid-1970s.